Andrew, first of all, just in this previous panel with Joel and Walter, I heard that MOOCs is now a verb, to MOOC up. So a word that is a somewhat awkward acronym has already become a verb. What have you created here, and how?
Yeah, when I spoke at here at same venue a year ago, one of the questions I got was, if we could go back and choose a different term than MOOC, what would I choose? And my answer a year ago was still the same today, as I would have just called them Coursera courses. Sorry, Anna. But
we're all about branding, but not in this session.
So I guess the MOOC movement started about 2 years ago. A few of us at Stanford have been working on online education for a few years, and this crazy thing happened. I was one of the professors that had put my class online, and 100,000 students signed up. Right? This is a huge surprise to all of us. I used to teach 400 students a year at Stanford, so 100,000 students means that for me to reach a comparable size audience, I would otherwise have had to teach at Stanford for 250 years. And since then, one of my friends, Daphne, and I got together to build out the technology to partner with great universities around the world. Among them, Stanford, Princeton, Caltech, Columbia, Penn, many others that are creating great online courses. And Coursera has 3.8 million students. Since then, there have been many other organizations, one of the most prominent ones being edX, of course, that is also joining this movement and building out their own platforms. But I think the turning point that took place 2 years ago was my team created, I think, the technology that enables one professor to teach not just 100 students, but 100,000. And that really changes the economics of higher education. And I think today, all of us are still trying to figure out what are the implications for that. But I think it'll be great for students is the ultimate thing.
And I want to ask you about this global outreach. Where in an instance last September 17th, when the Pakistani government shut down the physics course, the edX physics course, a Pakistani student, a young woman who was trying to complete the course, was helped by someone in Malaysia, by someone in Portugal, a professor in England or a student in England tried to chime in, and finally the professor in Portugal downloaded and did a workaround so that she could finish taking her test. I mean, this is not only diversity and globalization, but this was the kind of global community of scholars that is truly exciting.
Absolutely. I think if there's one epiphany we've all had, it's the power of the people, the power of the crowd, the power of peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-peer help. There, a number of people came together to help the students in Pakistan. But even beyond that, then edX took the next step, and we made all our videos downloadable, not through YouTube, but directly off of our own hosting site. So I think, and it's also good for us to keep in mind that all of this comes together through a number of technologies that came over the past 10 or 15 years. Education researchers have been working on this stuff for a while. They came up with the concept of active learning in 1973, and in fact, what the MOOCs have all rediscovered, and I think it's important that we realize, is that we've rediscovered it, the concept of active learning, where we interleave videos and interactive exercises to engage the student. And it is one thing that I think MOOCs have done is by putting technology and computing technology into education, it has made possible what education researchers have known for 50 years. They've known instant feedback is a good idea. They've known active learning is a good idea. They've known self-paced learning is a good idea. They've known peer-to-peer learning is a good idea. And so what MOOCs have done is brought in computing technology to education and have made all of these things possible at a large scale. And this wasn't possible before.